Hello, this is Malorian, and now this is going to be the third game of the semifinals of Ard Boyz, and this time I'm up against another Space Marine army. Alright, so to first kind of set the stage here, this game was kind of a random one. You go on table quarters, and then at the start of turn 3, you roll a dice, and depending on what that is, the whole game could be either based off controlling table quarters, kill points, or could even be about controlling pieces of terrain. And unfortunately, looking at this board, that's kind of a really odd one because there's these little like single trees all over the place, so it could get really messy, but whatever. Anyway, there's only 10 people that actually came to this location for the semifinals, and so even though me and my brother have not been doing stellar, if we ended this game doing well, we could easily be in the top 3. In fact, for my brother, at this point he was in second, so he's up against the guy that was first, and obviously whoever pretty much wins there is going to win the whole thing, as long as you don't tie and then the guy in third sneaks through or something. Another thing that's interesting about this is that I came to this semifinals with my bike army, hoping that surprise would be a big factor. You know, that nobody would have seen like this Kor'sarro all bike army, and they wouldn't know how to handle it. And I was very surprised to hear that actually, like the Dark Eldar guy I played in game 2 said, "Oh, you know, like I almost all my games against this, because I guess in these people's local area, that's what people do. Like there's big people that play a lot that have the bike army, and in fact this guy that I'm playing right now ran the Kor'sarro bike army in the prelims, so of course he's going to know everything I'm going to be throwing at him, no surprises. So yeah, it'll be interesting. He's also running a special character. He's running that Shrike, so you can see starting on the board here he has him that infiltrated in with some storm hammers, and he has 2 units of speeders with the the missiles, and then he also has the scouts in that thing there. And then coming on after is going to be 7 different drop pods filled with Stern Guard and Attack Squad and Dreadnought. So it's going to be interesting. So turn 1, 4 of his drop pods have to come in. He has the 1 Dreadnought here on the left. He also has an Ironclad. He has a 3rd Dreadnought that comes in on the right. And then he has another one that has the Attack Squad, which he combat squads right away. I actually said, like, oh, just so you know, it could be kill points. But he said, hey, if it's for holding the anything else, he only has the 2 troop units, so having as many as possible is going to be really critical for him. But anyway, looking at his position, you can see it's really obvious that he's going kind of trying to set up like a perimeter here with all of his counter units in the center. He made sure to go and turbo boost all of his speeders this turn to make sure they'll have covers. Actually, sorry, no, he'll be doing that next turn. But anyway, he has like everything in the center to kind of counter with, and setting up a perimeter on the outside trying to draw me in. So I have no turn 1. On his turn 2, he doesn't get any more of his reserves come in, which was interesting, and he just kind of like spaces out and is waiting for me to come in. And then on my turn 2, no, I had pretty much the way it worked is that for all my troops, they're outflanking. Everything else was coming in reserves. I actually didn't get that many. Well, I guess it was all right. I got 2 units that came on the one outflank, and they were both coming on the left side. I had my attack bikes. I had another regular squad. Plasma guns, and then also Kor'sarro. So my plan here was really just to stay out on the perimeter. Try and just go for the kill points and things like that, and just kind of like pick away at his outside units, try and knock down his speeders when possible, and really then just kind of like use my mobility to my advantage. The only thing I don't want to see is the terrain one. As far as what I did this time, I was able to destroy the 1 Dreadnought. That's great. Did some shooting into the 1 Scout Speeder. Was able to destroy the Multi-Melta. And then while shooting into the 1 Drop Pod here, I did nothing to it, or maybe I destroyed the weapon, but in return one of my plasma guys also killed themselves. Meh. It was bound to happen at some point. So, his turn 3. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, again, still none of his reserves come in. he's shooting at one of my left squads, kills a few guys, and I annoyingly fail my test, and they're starting to fall back. Those damn scouts, there's only 5 of them. They come and they charge in. I think he was really just trying to tie me up. One of them has a power weapon, though, and kills one of my bikes straight off, and, I should win this eventually, but it's just kind of annoying that that happened. And otherwise, he didn't really do anything to me because a lot of his stuff was either shooting on the bikes on the left and did some minimal damage, or I'm getting a lot of cover from all the stuff they're shooting through, so he didn't really do all that much. So my turn 3, and I take a real gamble. I was kind of disappointed with the amount of reserves that came in, and I really didn't want to kind of wait too much longer. Like, we had both not had many reserves come in, but I didn't want to get to the point that, his stuff would come in, start destroying some of my critical things, and then I wouldn't be able to counter him as well. So I decided to try and do the strike now. Kor'sarro and a regular unit moved up. Luckily during this game I was making my dangerous terrain test for my bikes pretty much perfectly. And I'm going to try and just take out the guts of his army first thing. I was going to go in here, shoot up all these Terminators, hope that the swarm of shots would kill a few. Kor'sarro should kill Shrike, and then if I can wipe out this middle, well, then the rest is going to be open for me to go and destroy. And the main thing is just kill those scoring units, and it's going to be easy. Alright, and so this is what it looked like at the end of my turn 3. The 1 unit rallied. I only got 1 unit of reserves that came in, so they came over and they destroyed one of the speeders at the top. Some other shots went and made it so one of the other gray speeders couldn't shoot. Those stupid scouts, I do nothing to him, and he slaughters all my guys. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Now he's going to be able to assault my unit of 3 on the far left. And now this is something that's kind of my fault and kind of, my opponent being a little bit of a jerk. I really needed to deal with that one ironclad since I was trying to take out his center. So I sent in a unit of bikes. All my Melta shots managed to go and destroy 1 arm, which isn't bad. And then when I charged in, he killed a couple of bikes. I went to go and smash him with my fist. And he says to me, like, oh, well, is he within 2 inches? And I think, well, of course he is. When I measure it, he's just barely out of 2 inches because when I had lined things up, I had just kind of like quickly moved in. So the front bikes were kind of like at an angle. And because of that slight angle, I was like 2.1 inches away. It's just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I broke. Ran away. These guys are now always going to be within 6 and running off the board. And this kind of like to myself, I just kind of rolled to see what I would have gotten, and I got 2 glancing hits. What could have been who knows what, probably nothing important, but the main thing would have tied combat and hopefully messed this guy up a little bit. But yeah, otherwise, first of all, the center didn't look good because when I shot all that stuff into them, made them take all those saves, I did nothing. Then when I charged in, Kor'sarro got 2 instant kills on Shrike. That was awesome. Killed 3 of the 5 Terminators. He only killed a couple back. And then from a fearless test, he's now down to 1 Terminator. So, I can expect that 1 ironclad to be charging in. But as long as he doesn't kill Kor'sarro, then I can hit and run out, and I can still be doing fairly well. Alright, so turn 4, and I can start laying down some disappointments. First of all, something I forgot to say that I learned in turn 3 is that this game is for terrain. So that's horrible. All these troops of his are kind of hiding in the center, which I'm going to have trouble getting to, and there's, terrain all over the place. And then you can see he had some of his reinforcements came in, so he had both of his stern guard units coming in on the left, shooting up my bikes, killing some with their combi meltas. Those goddamn scouts went over, charged my unit on the left, kicked their butt. He has another unit of his tac squads with the Master of the Forge that came in here on the right, and so more scoring units there. And then the thing that surprised me is that he just frickin' went and swarmed my guys. His ironclad went after Kor'sarro, which was expected, but then he also sent in his troops as well, which I thought, okay, well, whatever, my power weapons will go and rip you open, and then that's going to help me just even more to win this stuff. But, yeah, Kor'sarro kills 1 guy, and then all my other attacks with all my power weapons and all these things do nothing. Like, not even like he made saves. I didn't even like make a successful roll to wound with anything. After that, he beats me. Both my units break, get away. But I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, my command squad is gonna be within 6. They're gonna have to force to go off, and it's just bad news at this point. So my turn 4, I get some more reinforcements come in, and at this point I know, okay, I really got to start focusing on the objective if I'm not going to be massacred. So my bikes at the bottom had to run. Luckily, I was able to shoot down that one scout speeder, so he'll have to dedicate something else to me if he wants me to run off the board. I go after those scouts on the left and try and get rid of them. Sent in a bunch of bikes to try and concentrate on the stern guard at the bottom. Unfortunately, I didn't do quite enough. His power fist guy messed me up a little bit, but hey, at least what's over there should kill the scouts. And then, yeah, my command group goes off. I have some bikes that come in on the right. They went after, one of those little 5-man groups, and really I'm just trying to concentrate on those little 5-man groups to reduce his scoring units. His turn 5, his stern guard at the top tried getting down and fleeting to get into combat, but were 1 inch short. I finished off the stern guard, but there's still that one bloody scout left. You can see he moved over some speeders so that those bikes will have to run off. And then he also was, came down, killed that one bike and is after these others. And to my surprise, he actually sent the 5-minute unit that I was trying to go after with my bikes on the right to go after me and charge me. So I thought, oh, well, that's awesome, because you'd think that 6 bikes will beat 5 guys. Each of us have a power fist, but whiffing attacks, and yeah, he's beating me over there too. So my turn 5, I finally beat the scouts. Hooray! Still chopping away there. I go for a real push here again in the center. I move up. I try and take out these Terminators. He still has the one there. I just can't manage to kill him. And what I'd planned to do is he had the 1 scoring unit and then that ironclad. And I went shooting into the unit, hoping to kill a bunch of them, and then I'd charge them and the ironclad, hoping that my power fist could beat him, and then of course finish off the rest of the troop. Unfortunately, I totally wiped out the unit with shooting, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but now that unit is out in the open to be destroyed. So his turn 6, he goes and wipes out my bikes on the left. We're still grinding away there on the right. He goes and he destroys the 1 unit of bikes, but what worked out nice is that I finally beat that last Terminator, and then I consolidated up, and what I'm hoping to do is that now I can blitz all the way through and get to his troops at the very top. And then assuming that my bikes on the far right can eventually beat those troops, because now we're just getting down to the point where we have like 3 guys each with a power fist, and so odds-wise I should be still coming out on top of that. Then maybe I can still steal this away or make it a tie. But the other thing I'm worried about is, of course, if I get totally wiped out, it's a massacre win for him. So my turn 6, that's exactly what I do. Everything blitzes up. Unfortunately, it didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped. On the far right, I wasn't able to go and finish them off. On the top, I shoot those guys up, I charge them, and look, there's still 3 left. I couldn't believe it, and then the game ends. So maybe not so bad, because now he can't counter with all his dreadnoughts and things and wipe my guys out for the massacre. But then when we measured things out, the right force is contested, the left force that you're seeing there is contested, and then the middle one was a little bit iffy, because okay, it looks like he's holding it, but I didn't know if my guys contested it as well. On the left, it said for table quarters that your squads could only hold 1 and couldn't hold 2 at the same time, but it didn't say anything about the terrain. Either way, if you had even number, it was a tie, and then you needed 2 for a minor win. So the way it worked out, it was a tie. So yeah, a tie wasn't too bad, and I quickly rushed over to see how my brother was doing. They got kill points, and now you can see the guy that was doing really well. It's a really mixed army, because he would kind of put it together from a bunch of buddies models. It's a Space Wolf army that has a whole bunch of like Razorback Swarm, or spam rather, all these guard, wolf guard with these Terminator armor and these cyclone missile launchers. Unfortunately, my brother had started everything in reserve, and so these two units of Long Fangs had like blitzed over to get into this one building here at the bottom, and that was a little thing of contention because they weren't really sure how it was they were using it. They didn't really decide before the game, and so whatever. It was a real pain in my brother's side. But the real thing that it came down to is that when my brother came in with all of his tanks to do his alpha strike, did almost nothing. It was pathetic. And then in return, he just kept on losing all of his vendettas, kept on losing all his chimeras, and really what it came down to is that partway through, he just gave up because it didn't matter. It was like 10 kill points to 4. It was definitely going to be a massacre because he was just about to get assaulted everywhere as well. And the way that everything else worked out, it didn't matter out because this guy had like 13 more points than second place. So whether this was a massacre or a solid win, he would still be getting first place. And just to go through that, yeah, the Space Wolf guy came in first. The Dark Eldar guy that my brother played in the second game came in second because he got a massacre last turn. The guy I played my last game with Shrike, he came in third. He was 1 point more than me, so I came in fourth, and then my brother was 1 point behind me to be in fifth. So, my brother was definitely pretty disappointed. Obviously, in this last game, everything was in his hands to try and win, and it just kind of failed himself, I guess. When he looked back, if in that second game that would have been a major instead of a minor, that would mean he'd be in third place. And of course, with me, I was like, if anything would have gone better, I'd be third as well. But whatever. We were both in the top half. It was just fun to go on a nice little road trip and get this tournament against new players. Both of us had some disappointing moments, but hey, we have some good stories as well. So, thanks for watching, and I don't know if I'll be making a road trip like this next year to be going to like a semifinals, but I definitely would go to the free qualifiers. So, we'll see you then. Bye.